I had so much fun drifting the GT350 yesterday, guys, that I decided today we are gonna go to the Festival of Speed. And although it sounds like something with race cars and driving and lots of exciting stuff, it's just a bunch of boring exotic cars. But it's stuff that we don't normally see on the channel, so I thought we'd go check it out. We're running quite late, but we'll spend a little bit of time there. Nicole can whine about some exotic, really expensive cars that she wants someday.
And we can read a Christmas story a day until Christmas.
I don't see how that's related.
Because it's December! Oh, that wasn't even a race. He just took off.
We were both waiting to see who would go first because we didn't want to be that jerk.
The wing popped up! That's so sick! I love that car. I think this might be blurry. Oh, it's completely blurry. That's okay.
It's an RS5.
It's an RS5.
We didn't stand a chance.
You guys can't see it. Do you think he's probably going where we are?
Yeah.
Oh, you're so pretty. Oh, the wing popped down.
So it's at the Ritz-Carlton in Orlando. I don't think I've ever been in such a nice place. Look, they got their own golf course. They got trees and grass. You don't see grass often in Florida. It's usually not grass. I don't know, I just feel like I'm in. Look at the road, man. They got curves. You know how expensive curves are? Ask Florida, they'll tell you. Nice Lamborghini, pal. Just walking up in the parking lot, there's a lot of cool stuff. Camera does not do that color justice. Just the parking lot here has nicer cars than most of the car meets we go to. I don't think I've ever seen a CTSV in orange. I wonder if that's like a factory color. We invited Nicole's brother, but he couldn't come, but he absolutely loved the ACR Vipers. It's cool to see one. Hey look, a 240 made it in with exotics. This car's got a lot of money into it. Really clean though. I love builds like this. Those door panels look awesome. That's so nice. We're having a tough time actually finding where the car show is. This place is huge, but just walking there's a lot of cool cars just parked in the parking lot. Some BMWs, another BMW, Cadillac, Lamborghini. The thing I like about these two parked next to each other is just the juxtaposition of size of this versus this. The show's already exceeded my expectations. There's a lot of really unique stuff here. It's so rad. Gotta make sure I get a clip of the Utes for the Aussies. Probably could have parked with the Shelbys if my tires weren't blown. This is the color I probably would have gotten if I had the choice. If I had this blue, I'd probably be way more likely to keep the car. Doesn't that look great? One day we'll probably end up with an old classic Porsche. What do you think about that, Nicole? You down?
I just said that before you turned it on. Obviously they pulled in this way, but I just want to know how many turns they had to make to get it facing the lake and that way.
I don't know if they use them, but they actually make dollies for purposes like that. If you have like a tight garage or whatever. By far the coolest parking space though here. One day I'll be able to justify such an expensive car. I'm so glad that Nicole is not all like googly-eyed for exotic cars.
I just appreciate, even if it's not our style of car, I appreciate people putting work into cars and making it look good for their purpose and their style, not just buying cars stock and bringing them to car shows and being like, hey, look, I spent a lot of money on this.
The one exception of what Nicole just said is I think I would love to own a McLaren. I've never driven one, but something about them.
I wasn't dissing them. I didn't diss anything.
Okay, true. It's just more preferential to look at.
Yes.
Okay. I finally get to unlock a new character in the videos. So this is my sister that you guys haven't met yet, named Julie. She's actually here with her McLaren. You want to tell them a little bit about your McLaren?
I got this pink Barbie doll McLaren last weekend actually, and I've been really enjoying it ever since. It's super fast. Can't wait to take it to the track.
Is it wrapped or is it painted?
It's wrapped.
How can you tell?
Because right here it's a little sparkly, and then it's pink color. And you can see right here.
Yeah, that's
it's like where it's not quite cut perfectly.
Oh, it is wrapped. Good eye.
Sure.
I'm glad you know your own car.
I just got the new tires and new rims, so sweet.
All jokes aside, Julie's actually here. She sells residences for the Ritz-Carlton. Whatever that means.
Yes, it means that you can actually buy a magnificent residence and act like you're on vacation here at the Ritz-Carlton every day that you are at your home.
Well, there you go. Maybe one day we'll get you a McLaren.
Absolutely.
I think this might be Matt Mormon's new car, but I'm not too sure. I have to find him and ask. It would have an Obsessed Garage plate if it was. I'll know by the plate. Is it? Nope, that's not his car. I don't know if it's for some sort of ABS system or whatever, but I noticed the McLaren has 2 calipers in the rear, which is pretty cool. It's funny because regardless of how expensive it is to bring out cars here and be like a vendor here, it probably pays off if they can sell just one car because these things are so expensive. And I point out one of the cheapest cars in this lot. You know, we had to stop and get some coffee. Got a nice little coffee bar inside here. It's funny because hotels like this are so nice and we always enjoy spending time at places like this, but we will never spend the money to stay at a hotel like this, even if it's in our means. We just like to spend our money elsewhere on like cars and shoes.
Makeup and Lululemon.
It's just hard to justify like spending money. I guess it's because we never really like spend time at hotels, so that would make sense.
I think it's harder for you to justify it. I would be happy to just spend 2 days at a hotel.
That just sounds so ridiculous when you could be like drifting or riding bikes or
No,
vlogging.
we're just two different types of people. You're go, 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 and I'm like, hey, let's take a chill pill and just like lay down and look at the scenery.
I wonder if the people that are here for like the spa or whatever are mad because there's lots of loud V12s revving.
Probably more mad just because you're holding up this vlog camera and like looking like TJ Hunt.
Damn. Corvette smells like race gas. My guess is that's the Corvette that had the little poster next to it that said 1700 horsepower or 1200 or something like that. That Mercedes truck looks so cool from behind. I'm already getting parts in the mail for the giveaway car and I can actually give you guys a sneak peek at this one. Any guesses? Cosmos wheels, of course. And this is actually by far one of my favorite wheels that they make. I just can't unfortunately fit them on my 240. It's their XT206R. Jimmy used to actually have these on his 300ZX, and that's when I first found out about Cosmos and fell in love with their wheels. I just had them send 2 just so I could test fit them and make sure everything works, but they're actually sponsoring a set for the giveaway car as well as 2 drift spares that I'm gonna give to the winner of the car. And I'm also doing a full extra set of Cosmos wheels that's going to be like a second prize. So in addition to giving away the car, we're gonna be giving away a set of Cosmos wheels along with one other big prize that I'm not going to announce yet. If you're new to the channel or you haven't heard me talk about this giveaway car at all, I'm not gonna be really doing anything with it until January. So this is just kind of like previews and stuff as parts start coming in. It'd just be very difficult for me to be entirely secretive about it because I have been dedicating quite a bit of time towards sourcing everything for this car and getting all the logistics and everything figured out. Also a reminder, I still do have that code for Cosmos wheels. If you wanna use it, you can just go to the website and type in LZBMX. It'll get you 10% off their wheels in addition to free shipping. Alberto stopped by Mr. Big Boost himself, and he's gonna help me tackle something that's very important on Nicole's 240 that has been kind of overlooked because it's a bit of an involved process.
Sucks to do. That means we're gonna cut into Nicole's car.
Yeah, we have to literally cut a hole in her frame rail. If you don't remember from the other videos, this bolt for Nicole's tension rod bracket is actually broken, and there's a gap here. This really isn't fastened, which is kind of sketchy because pressure gets placed on this when you brake. In addition to that, we can't mount a front sway bar because of the fact that I can't access this bolt. So we're gonna fix that so I can add a front sway bar and Nicole's car will be much more rigid in the front. This, in theory, could result in some wheel shake, although it hasn't. The only way to get access to this is to cut a hole in the frame, which obviously isn't convenient.
Your sway bar matches my shirt. Alright, here's what we got. We got a stud that it has like a little square thing inside, almost like a subframe. So what happens right now, this is stripped, but the whole stud is spinning. So I'm gonna have to cut a window over here so I can weld the top again, then close this back up, and then I'm gonna be able to remove this nut without the stud spinning anymore.
I didn't realize this is actually looked like there's a much bigger gap than there used to be, so that could be what's resulting in all the wheel shake.
Yeah, I know, dude, like, look at this, this is ridiculous. This thing moves a lot.
That's super sketchy.
So it doesn't only move up and down, but it also wiggles the whole thing.
So if you can see the lower radiator support, this part's actually broken and cracked just from the stress of that loose bracket. So it's a good thing that we went ahead and welded that plate up here. If you remember when we were doing the radiator install, we added that extra plate. Otherwise, this would have basically no structural rigidity. Obviously, I've known of this issue, but it's not something that I wanted to do, seeing as I really don't know how to weld, and I'm not too eager on cutting into the frame. So me and Alberto have been planning on doing it. We just never really had the time, so we're getting around to it now.
The engine is broken, so there's nothing I can do right now to...
Did you get your new pistons in yet?
No, I have to take the engine to the machine shop tomorrow so I can get it machined. I'm getting it bored 20 over. I'm also decking the block for a new gasket and the head as well.
Dang.
So the whole thing is getting machined.
It's gonna be sick. Should have done an RB.
Yeah.
Since both are broken, Alberto's essentially going to be cutting line basically like this and folding this piece upward so he can get access to weld in there. So since he's going to be welding, we have to strip the paint off here and we have to clean all the grease and grime off of it. So I'm going to hit it with a wire brush, some brake cleaner, and get the surface as good as I can for him.
Burn all the paint off and strip it with this. The only bad part is that it smells really, really bad. Unless you like the smell of burnt paint.
There's nothing like flammable in there that's gonna light on fire, right?
It's okay, I've done this before. Trust me, I'm an engineer.
Trust me, I'm a mechanic. You just see all the smoke coming out of the engine bay. It's so funny.
Is there any cleaner here?
That works so well. That's crazy. Clean AF. I wasn't filming, but Alberto just had the saw jumped out of his hands.
I was like literally cutting backwards instead of like this because I couldn't get it like this because of the pipe. I had it backwards and it just jumped on me, fell out of my hands, literally went like this down, whoop, right to my pants, and my phone saved me. Then I caught it right before I hit the floor so they didn't mess up the switch track. Is my phone okay? Look, I got like that little mark right there.
That might have broke skin.
Oh, that was scary. Check this out, and I got this little window here. I just gotta now bend it up.
That's so smart. I was thinking about like literally just cutting a complete square out of it, but that must make it so much easier to weld back together.
Exactly. With this, I can just bend it back in, and it will fit right into place.
Hooray! Now we can see what's going on.
Where's the other thing?
I think it's gone. So Alberto dropped a few tacks on there and should keep it from ever spinning again. Did you do the one in there too, just in case?
Yep.
Cool. Sick. That was easy.
No, I gotta close back the whole thing.
Windows all closed up. Now I assume we paint this, right, Alberto?
Yeah, after it cools a little bit. Don't want to paint it now.
Would it legit catch fire? Is it that hot?
It will, yes.
Dang, that would look so cool. Can we do it for the thumbnail?
What?
Make it catch fire?
No.
I'm just kidding.
It'll just bubble up really, really bad and it won't even stick.
Alberto and I got in the zone a little bit. We got the Siki front sway bar fitted up. We had a bit of an issue figuring out the proper clearance to get it so it's like kind of right in the center here, so when the car is uncompressed it's not just going to slap up against the oil pan. But we use my little trick where we kind of lower the car on the wheels so you can still get underneath the car and you can slip in the end links with zero preload. So it's a little bit tricky, but we got it now. Everything's tightened up and about to take the car for a spin. I think that the wheel shake probably had something to do with the loose tension rod brackets because they were very loose on both sides, so much so that I even noticed when you hit the brakes, you could hear a little bit of a click and we couldn't figure out what it was, but it makes sense now that it was those. So hopefully the car feels much better now. I just took Nicole's 240 out for a drive and I never realized how many weird noises the front end of our car made until they stopped making them. Like even pulling out of the driveway, no more weird clunks going from the front end. The braking feels much more direct. The turn-in is still a little bit funky. Alberto thinks it's because I don't have a metal bushing in this car like I have in mine.
Oh yeah, that steering bushing, yes.
It could probably use an alignment, but overall though the car feels much better. It'll be interesting to see how the sway bar feels on the track, but the car is inherently more safe now. There's a lot less chance of damage. I'm very glad to have both the sway bar and that little tension rod bracket fixed. So thank you, Alberto.
No problem.
If they want to go check out your channel, what are you going to be up to tomorrow?
Tomorrow I'm gonna finish cleaning up the BMW engine parts so I can drop it off at the machine shop. So I might do a video of that since some other people out here ask about what kind of machine is gonna get done. So I'll probably explain some of that once I take it over there.
Alberto's channel is right here.
Oh man, I will say, I forgot what I was gonna say. No, I'll put that on the video. Hold on, wait.
Comment below if you want to see me and Alberto put together another engine.
Wait, you're filming like all the way over there?
What?
Guys, very importantly, my engine has not blown up because of like messing something up building it. It has an unfinished tune on it. So it's kind of like my fault a little bit for just like not wanting to go back to the dyno and finish it. So if you guys saw the video, I tuned the car all the way to 5,000 RPM, so I was having the lifter issue. And then I fixed the lifter issue and then took it all the way to 7,400 RPMs without retuning it. So it's like uncharted territory. I don't know what was happening on the map there. And the car leaned out and I broke all 6 pistons again. But right now I'm gonna put 4 pistons on it, so it's gonna be a fully built motor so I can handle all the boost that I want right now.
Yeah, you guys were picking on Alberto saying he didn't know how to build an engine because he blew up 2 of them. It wasn't necessarily the engine's fault. It was most likely the tune's fault. So stop giving him a hard time. Obviously my SR has lasted quite a lot of abuse. So
yeah, and
stop hurting his feelings.
Budget. It's really expensive to build a BMW engine. Right now I put like $2,000 worth of parts. But right now, I think I have everything to have a fully reliable engine. Once I get it tuned properly, it should last like forever.
Even though you got eBay pistons?
They're not eBay pistons, they're Y-Cycle pistons.
But where'd you get them from?
eBay.
Oh, that was fun. All right, guys, we will see you tomorrow. Bye.
They're not eBay pistons, come on.
No, they know, they know.
Y-Cycle.
They know, they know.
You said